going to tackle about the late Middle Ages. So during 12,000s, the medieval Europe society it reached the high point, no, but everything changed during the 13,000s when there is a disastrous force happened. So unsa day ang nahitabo aning kanang the late Middle Ages? So first, let's have my table of contents. So the Black Death, the plague spreads, decline of church power, the Great Schism, the Hundred Years' War, and the political recovery. So the Black Death. So unsa din ang Black Death? So kaning Black Death is so named because of the black color sudden lymph nodes called bugus. They appeared in the neck, armpits, legs, and groin. So kani siyang Black Death is mauni siyang gitawag og Black Death is tungod bitawin kani siya nga nag-itong-itong dito sa ilang kalawasan, and also tungod sa kay ang once na sila ing ani baka nilang diri dito kay nay mo kanang muburot gani. Oh, kana din.
Bubuto na siya, ibutuan na patay yun.
So,
Wala siya all over the body na, armpits, kana
Chicken pox.
mura siya chicken pox pero mas maayo, bubuto na siya, nain kaayo. Ang chicken pox kay mura man nagkukiyos.
Rooster pox, girl.
Tanawa ko rin yung picture ko, ang tao na puno, anak. Okay, sige. Lain kayo na? Nilo. Okay, sige.
So ang the common in hinungdan aning Black Death is because of the plague. So
That's because of the plague.
Because
Because of the rat. Because of the plague.
tungod ni siya sa kanang itang ang mga rats nga naa sila kanang mga fleas gani fleas nga which is
Ato sa kuanon. Asa ron ang mga, where are the Europeans now? Because there was already peace. Asa sila? Diba na, cities were revived. And where are they now? They are now trading. Okay, nag-trade na sila. They now are trading along the Mediterranean and specifically in the Red Sea. Red Sea na, no? Check, is it in the Red Sea? Black Sea. Black Sea. They are now trading. Unfortunately, because they were shipbuilders, no? They were building ships. Unfortunately, when their ships docked in the Red Sea, there were rats that were infected with the fleas. Okay, these fleas contain bacteria, and once mapaakan ka sa fleas, dili ang rat paak ha. Ang fleas, inigpaak sa fleas, gikan sa rat, musakay ang rat sa barko, ang katong na sa barko, makuanan sila fleas, gagmay man kayo ang fleas, and then afterwards, these particular rats will be moving from one place to another. Okay, upalo sila asa ang trade routes. Ang trade routes asa adtupod. No, so that was something they did not know. Okay. Unya mo, sige, kasi ako mamurot on discuss. Dahil okay pa dahil Christine.
so the plague spread. So di ba ang katong sa topic ni Paulo kay di ba ang Europe during this time is hugaw. Hugaw sila, wala even garbage collector kay wala sila kay wala sila proper sanitation ya. Ang ilang mga hugaw is sila rang ikalat-kalat bitaw din. So ay sila sad kay kanin sila is kanin mga European yo kay kanin sila kay seldom ra ni sila maligo kay tungod sa kanang mihit ang ilang tubig. So tungod ana no kay
Please speak in English, Christine.
so the most common plague in the Black Death is the bubonic
Form, ang bubonic plague was already a bubonic was already a plague. Plague siya because it has already widespread. Pero dili siya, ang Black Death is not actually a form of the bubonic plague. Okay? Bubonic na siya. So ang Black Death, that's a type of the
kay kana silang kuan mo kay tulo man na sila kakuan pero ang most common during sa
is the Black Death. Okay.
So it was spread by black rats infested with fleas carrying a deadly bacterium. So kani siya kay kanang fleas to human transmission, which is once mapaakan ka is guys, once mapaakan ang magtakod-takod bitaw ni siya, like ikaw ikaw mapaakan ka din. For example kanang mura siya kung atong i-relate sa ato ano mura siya kung katong bitaw pag COVID. Inaato siya.
Pero siya lang, mabuto manggod na. Ibuto ana niya na siya ng bacterium muna mo takot-takot. Scatter siya.
Siya kunggo man.
Dili siya kunggo, dili siya kunggo. Mura gid siya sakto na. Mura siya kanang tawag sa
Ay, airborne yan.
Dili siya airborne.
Siya airborne.
Dili na siya airborne. Kuha man gud. Mo siya nga paso ba?
Infectious.
O infection siya pero open wound bang gud. Yeah, remember na siya bacteria. So,
Ay, kanang pizza.
Ano siya spore?
murag pizza, murag it's like that, murag siya mga pizza, pero mas grabe pa, it's worse than that. Okay? Sige. Pero ang situation, let's go back to the situation. Ang situation was the cities were crowded and so dali siya spread.
Ano siya boiled?
Oh, more siya boil, mga na. Okay, sige.
So during this time no kay ang mga those people who have black spots they go to church para they think nga kanang the church where church is blessed ang ilahang kanang mga black spots gani, but the church did not do anything to aid the.
No. It's not true that the church did not do anything. No, in the book it says there that the church people were also affected by the Black Death, and so
Wala mahimo.
there were churchmen, priests who actually died. No, dili sa walay gihimo. Correct. The term is walay mahimo. Kasi mahimo because they themselves were also
Ilan ko yung
affected.
ma'am.
Oh, nagtuman sila nga masakit mi mo adto mi sa church. Remember at this time, at the height of the High Middle Ages, very powerful ang church. Diri na kita may decline nilang power because people were thinking nga makasave maayos sila sa church, and this time ang mga church people themselves died because of the plague. So nagtaman na sila og pagsalig sa simbahan. Muna mo decline na diha ang power during the church power during the High Middle Ages. Sige, let's continue.
So during in 1348 to 1349, the plague spreads in the lower countries, including
Luxembourg, not Burge.
Luxembourg,
Oh, yes.
Netherlands, and Germany. And also during this time is those people who na sila kaya ganito escape the countryside is they tend to escape the countryside to avoid
Isolation.
Sa una,
Isolate.
mo iskapo sila sa mga towns, sa mga manor. Muadto sila sa syudad. Pag plague, muadto sa sila sa bukid. Muadto sa sila sa towns. Just like what happened, yes. Just like what happened in COVID, during COVID. Diba? Gikan sa syudad, nangadto sila sa probinsya. Inani po. So una, mo iskapo gid sila kay muadto sa syudad. Pag plague, mag-iskapo, kay mamalig, dito sa bukid.
Medieval quarantine.
Medieval quarantine. It's very important that you understand this because we might be very sad about what happened to the world during COVID-19 pandemic. But COVID-19 is not the worst pandemic that the world experienced. This one, the bubonic plague is the worst. In fact, there are communities na buot yun sila kamatay. Nagdaghan kaayo. Kami siya dugay ning gibit-bit sa mga Europeans. Abot nila sa Amerika, ang sunod ani ato sa Amerika. Igabot nila na sa Amerika, nagduda pa sila ani. Group po nila wipe out ang mga American, ang population sa Amerika. No? Yan na pag ginasagida nga flu. Kasi pa nga kanang flu virus. Yeah, Spanish flu. Grabe kaayo. So, kaning mga Europeans, mura sila kuan ba? Mura tagda sa virus.
Decolonize sila ito dito ang
Yeah, ma-affected. Yes.
kay dili sila immune mo ba wala sila antibodies kani na makawas.
Correct. Maka-fight. Munang ayaw magkaon ng kuan ha. You know what? Kay ba kung nganong ang ESF, nganong why the government is very stringent about the implementation of the protocols no with regards to the importation or the transportation of meat. It's because we are afraid of zoonotic transfer. May mga sila nga, ang nasakit ana ang baboy naman. Ug atong kaunon di man ka ma-affected. Wala pay study. Wala pay study, di ba? We are afraid of the zoonotic transfer. Unsa man ang zoonotic? That is the transfer of the disease from animals to human beings. Just like what happened sa COVID. Zoonotic man to, ang nasakit ang bats, ikaon sa tao ang bat. Ay, if this is true ha, kung dili laboratory work ang virus. If it's not the work of the laboratory, then it could be a zoonotic transfer. Wala itong di-prevent ron nga dito mo kaon ng baboy na infected with ESF, kay basin na zoonotic transfer. Kasi ginatong kaon. Yun na. Careful, tayo mo kaon baboy, kay mo nga, ay bago ko man ang namatay, init-init pa, ato na nagturo.
So, ang mga lagi mo kay, kana kayo yung mga kritika sa kuweba, mana sila mag-view. Kaya sila kaya kayo mamusin sila, tapos ila isugwa.
Okay na, basta wala siya sakit. Oo, pero may sakit ang kuwang doktor.
Dapat na yung medical certificate.
Wala ang baboy, ato dyan ang bipihan raan.
High blood.
Ito ka rin, high blood.
So, to continue, no? So, who can't afford to leave the countryside, those who are poor, they tend to reunite to those who have the virus, no? So they will either going to take care of those who are victims, or they will going to leave to those victims. But for those who escape in the countryside, and then they have families that are being infected, kay ila na silang biyaan, even though it's asawa na na nila, igsuon, or unsa pa nila, ila ginambiyaan, kay ila yung mura ganig, anay panahon na is they are selfish, they want to survive, o they want to, ganahan silang save ilang kaugalingon.
Pero, sakto naman po. Because they can do something, they can no longer save.
Yes.
So may pagsakto ilang gibuhat kay aron napay nabiling buhi. Mahurot o kamatay.
So this is how the bubonic plague was transmitted. So rat carries plague bacteria, then fleas drinks the blood of the rats, then which cause bacteria, no? Then once the plague paak siya sa tao, is mauna rin siya nga ma-infected ang tao.
Pero nagmaya sa fleas.
Di ba gina sa maligo?
Wala siya pag sila maligo.
Di ba gina makita?
Diwa lagi di ba mag-inom ba sila sige beer? Do you remember? Kaway tubig. Ana sila sa well.
O sara na sa maligo ko siya kay.
So out of a total European population of 75 million, possible 1/3 of the population died in 1347 and 1351. So imagine, yeah, so imagine, daghan kayo, there are many people who died during this pandemic.
Sa England, oh?
And ang most na hard hit nila is the Italy, because the Italy is very crowded. So 50 to 60 people, 50 to 60% of people died. And also the entire villages in England and Germany disappeared. So this is the spread of Black Death. Numuni siya ang trade routes nga katong diagian bitaw sa plague.
Black Sea.
Sa daraan. Kani siya.
Ibihalo dahan sa napektuhan.
Alam kay country nga ilang na apektuhan. So the Black Death, no, it has also some people many believe that the plague was made by the God to punish their sins, or the devil caused it. Pero because of that, no reactions, they lead to that ilang gipasanginlan ang Jews nga katong gi-poison ang ilahang tubig, so that sila ang nakakos ato nga pandemic.
Remember, they were already Christians. Di ba ang Europeans were already Christians? And they believed that it was the Jews who, in una yun is, ang Jews were believed to let Jesus be crucified on the cross. Kaya nakita, no, ina na ang tao, no? If there is something bad, a misfortune that happens to you, you seem to look for somebody to blame.
Yes.
And they are blaming the Jews because yun sila, oh, the Jews are very free. Well, in fact, they were crucifying our God, no? Si Jesus Christ. So, munang, ingon sila, kani mga Jews, kuani, kanang sa tawagan ni, mga kuani sila, mga sadani silang nakaingon nga nung naatay Black Death, yung punish sa Ginoo kay ang iyang anak atong gipalansang sa krus. So it's like that. So the Jews were charged of poisoning the wells. Yang wells, di ba ito source nila sa water. So, diri sa usa sa mga rason nga nung anti-Semitism movement. Yeah, it's hatred for against the Jews, especially in Germany.
Oo, katok.
Yeah, the Holocaust. Sumpay ani Holocaust. Okay, so World War. Okay, next.
So because of what happened, no, the Jews from Germany, they transferred to Poland. In the Poland, they are being protected by that king. So,
Ma'am, ask ko ma'am pa kanina.
Yes.
In what way, ma'am, na-end ang Black Death, ma'am?
Immunity na din.
Immunity na sa
Yes.
lawas antibodies.
Yeah.
Pero
Pero dugay pa kayo.
Dugay pa kayo.
Dugay pa kayo. It's immunity. Immunity rin na kaya ni.
Ay, wala pa rin ako ng antibiotics.
Wa pa, dugay pa. Okay. And of course, ang virus continued pero og naagi hapon nanay antibiotics.
Oo, nabito ka. Hindi naman ka na siya kuya.
so because of that, there is a social and economic effect because of the Black Death. So here is the decline of population. So it led to labor shortages. So the landholders during this time, as they paid nibayad sila sa mga tao og dako na kay ang mga tao kay nigamay naman, then they need a lot of workers man, and also because of the decline of the population, so the foods nga needs is the decline sad, and it causes the prices to fall. So here is the economic effects, which is labor shortages, the decline in trade, and less demand for food. However, in social effects is decline of serfdom, growth of cities, peasant revolts, decline in church influence, and preoccupation with death in art and literature.
Serfdom. Kung natutubang system nga na mga serfs.
Under sa sangol.
Higit sa'yo mo
Yes. Sige.
Diba, during that plague spreads is na-decline man ang mga pagtuo sa tao, no? So the church power had been declined. So,
Nag-decline kay kamong gaya diha kay ingon mo do almost Ginoo nga matay mo gani mo. Oh, na kami pa. So then the people doubted. They doubted about the entire church. Okay.
so the European kings started to reject the papal claims of supremacy. So we have King Philip IV and Pope Boniface VIII. King Philip, he claimed that the right to tax the clergy. However, Pope Boniface argued that taxing the clergy need required consent from the Pope, because the Pope are supreme of both church and state. But still, King Philip, wala siya nisugot. He really rejected the power of the papal supremacy. So, because tuhod ato kay baka nisugot si Pope Boniface, no? So si King Philip is he sent French armies sa Italy para kuhaon si Pope Boniface para sa Boniface for the trial, but Pope Boniface escaped, but still he soon died. And in 1305, King Philip IV, he engineered the election, which is he elected Clement V as the Pope during this time. So
ang mga pope karon Italiano ha. Italiano naa sa Rome. Pero karon naghikaon sa gihimo ni Juan. And sana Henry?
Philip.
Philip.
So King Philip the Fourth engineered the election and he elected Clement V. Kani si Clement V is
Clement the Fifth.
Clement the Fifth. He resided in the Avignon. Sorry. So he lived in the Avignon. So during 1305 to 1377, the Pope resided in Avignon.
Usa pa to'y ka-pope ha. Walay pope ani sa kwan kay namatay des Boniface. Namatay.
So, ang successor si...
Ang successor si Clement. Pero si Clement wala dito sa Rome.
Yes.
Sa Avignon. Kunya mga tao.
Soko.
Dapat ato din sa Rome kay successor magkamo ni Saint Peter. Di ba? Yes. Kunya sa may mga, how will you describe the popes in Avignon? Kaya nasuko man yung mga tao.
Very luxury.
Oh, yes.
So the
Sige.
So diba I see katong Clement the Fifth is he resided in Avignon. So pagka 1305 to 1377 is the Pope resided in Avignon, and then the people is kanang ni kuan bitaw sila nireklamo kay dapat ang Pope is mag-reside siya sa Rome dili sa Avignon. So boundary ang ni kuan diri ang
Diningon ang mga tao dahil because as I've said, di ba nato the Pope in Avignon were living in luxury. Yeah, and the people were telling us, how can the successor of the poor people of Galilee, di ba poor people of Galilee, live in luxury? Di ba kamo ang una nga dapat nag-espouse sa kapobre? Di ba? Yeah, bow of poverty. Ano man na nga, luxurious man gaya yung mga kinabuhi. You forgot that you are a spiritual leader. No, mo to nasuko mga tao. So karon hay naman kung sila na giusam na.
So the sentiments about the papal supremacy no is they grew siya during this time kay ang gusto because of what the people wanted the Pope to reside in Rome and not in Avignon. So the cardinals they meet together to elect a new Pope. Then the people in the France is they ilang gibantaan ilang they warn the cardinals that if they would elect Italian Pope is
Why makagawas ka mo?
but the cardinals are wise. They elected an Italian Pope which is si Urban the Sixth.
Pagkaman, sila ibot ni Urban.
So kani si Urban the Sixth I actually na ay group of French cardinals na ilang gi-decline bitaw katong election o murag ilang ingon na dili valid. So they decided to elect a new pope but kani si Urban is ni-remain ay nagpabilin siya sa Rome. So tungod ana diri nagsugod ang great schism tungod kay there are schism because there are already two popes.
Si Urban
O
si Clement, ba?
Patay na.
Isa may ilang bago si Gregory. Si Gregory man nun ang ilang bagong gikuan. I-elect. Okay, so dili oy.
Frenchman, Rama.
Wala isulti, no?
Pero tulong man na sila.
Wala akong tulong natin.
Okay, check.
Sige dahin, padayon.
So because of this crisis no kay it leads to a reform. So kanin si John
It's Jan Hus.
So Jan Hus he led the Sikh reformer. It is a call for an end of corruption of the clergy and to excessive papal power within the church. But the kani si Jan Hus kani si Jan Hus is he was accused of heresy sa
Hersey.
So he was accused of heresy by the Council of Constance. Kani siya is born in stake. Kaning born
at the stake.
Burn at the stake is kanang bitong iron. Ikuan siya sa anang iron nga nay kalayo.
Sunugon ko. Sunugon ka. Ay, dili pasuan, gisunog yun, alay. Just like what happened to John of Arc, no? Di pang sunog na rin. Sige, padayon kayo.
So because of what happened to Jan Hus.
Jan Hus.
So because of what happened to Jan Hus, it leads to a Czech revolutionary upheaval in Bohemia that was not crushed until 1436. So by the early 14,000s is the church already lost much of their political power, but Christianity is maugya pa na ang center sa medieval Europe. So dili lang ang plague, economic crisis o katong the decline of the church ang problems that they are facing. They also face the hundreds of war, which is the
100
most
years war.
The
Hundreds of war.
the 100 years of war, which
This
is
is
the
of 100 years war.
100.
which is the 100 years war, which it is the most violence in the European history. So can you see now we have King Edward III of England. He is a Duke of Gascony and a vassal to the French king, and he was skillful in politics and war. And we also have King Philip VI of France. He is also the first of the Valois kings. So can you see this King Philip IV, he tried
The six.
he tried to seize the France, and then because he wanted to seize the France, King Edward declared a war to King Philip, which is the mao siya ang sinugdanan sa the 100 Years War.
Pwede ato lang sabton. Edward is a king of England, pero he was a Duke of Gascony. Ang Gascony is actually a French territory. That's a duchy. Piece of land, no? So, awaha, ang king of England, naigi pa nag-iyang nga French territory. Okay? So, kay French territory man to, may mo siyang vassal sa French king. Hindi man to yaha, English king man siya. Karon gusto mong bawion ni Philip ang katong Duchy of Gascony. Kay France man to ya, so France nganong ang King of England may nagiyaani. And so that time, because of that issue, na-declare a war. Okay, na-declare and this war was called the 100 Years War.
So this 100 Years War, it was an armed conflict between England and France for their territorial rights and issue of succession to the French throne. So how does the war begin? So it begins when a burst of knightly enthusiasm. So the 100
Enthusiasm ng Enthusiasm. Okay. Sige.
So kani the war begins in a burst of knightly enthusiasm. So kani the English armies and the French armies is they fought but ang nakadaog ani nila is ang English. So ang English during this time is kanang sila na ang nagmaster sa Northern Europe. And kaning English is they have a heavily armed
Longbow.
longbow, which ang kaning longbow is kani siya.
Di kinahanglan mo doon.
Taas na.
Taas na tayo.
Kani ang longbow pero di bibig na ang longbow is mas dali bitaw siya ug mas paspas siya nga makapatay kaysa katong crossbow nga ana-ana.
Wala.
Wala ko sa picture pero ingani sa siya
Pahigda na siya. Parang siya pahigda. Mas paspas na siya para sa longbow.
So during this time, the French armies debuted the foot shoulders. Ang kaning foot shoulders
Hindi
is
shoulders, iba. Yung soldiers. The foot soldiers.
soldiers.
Nabaga na noon. Christine.
So kaning foot soldiers, they are not knights or armies. They are actually peasants that are being paid to be foot soldiers. So because they won the battle, no, so the French armies give you those foot soldiers that they are social inferior. So here, English soldiers were armed not only with pikes or heavy spears but also with long bows. So the long had greater striking power, longer range, and more rapid speed of fire than the crossbow, which is, ang kaning crossbow is mao tani ang ilang formally weapon nga napili.
Okay. Christine, I think we will have to continue with this tomorrow. I will give you 5 minutes before the start of the quiz, okay? By 9:30 naman din. Kasi yung maestro.